Hare Krishna, invocation prayers, please.
Hare Krishna, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshuranmilatam Yana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Tapidam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Tadadi Swapadantikam Bande Nam Shri Guruve Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guruve Vaishnavim Cha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunatha Vidam Da Jivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parinyana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visagam He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vachakalpatarupsiya Kripa Sindhu Baya Ivacha Patitana Pavane Bayo Vaishnava Bayo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurava Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25. Now, first I want to apologize for my mistake at last class. Now, I made a mistake, but I'm going to use the mistake as a learning opportunity. So I made a mistake by referring to verses from chapter 28 instead of chapter 25 that we were discussing last class. So the learning point I want to use this is that you do not have to blindly believe what I say. You have to accept what the scriptures say. So my mistake was that verse number 17 that we were discussing last time, that the discussion on the roles, the subtle and the gross body play in material enjoyment, somehow I had chapter 28 open and that discussion, so the discussion is correct. It's just that I had chapter 28 open and I was speaking from chapter 28, although we were discussing chapter 25. So there was no mistake in the content of the discussion. It was just that the point is from chapter 28 and not the chapter 25 that we were discussing. And similarly, the verses 29 and 30 also that we discussed about the significance of Mala Dwaja and his children is also from chapter 28. So when I was discussing this Mala Dwaja, that's when I actually clicked to me that this actually comes later on in this unit. Still at that point, it didn't really click to me. So you all had these spiritual endeavor questions, exactly the 2 points where I was discussing from chapter 28. So when you do your spiritual endeavors, you have to do by reading scriptures. And you should have all questioned me that this is not there in the verses that we are referring to. That something is amiss. So scriptures are the basis, not me. I am also subject to 4 defects. So I apologize for the mistake. I still want all of you to follow the scriptures, not me. Everybody? Shalini?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, when I was doing the homework questions, when I came to the second question, I have written in brackets verse 17, that's what you mentioned. So I went and I was trying to look, and I went on 16, I went on 18, nowhere I could find the subtle and gross body description. So what I did is I made my answer based on your notes, Prabhu. Class
Yeah,
notes, so based on that.
yeah, you should have questioned that. It's not there in the verse, although I gave you the verse. It's there. If you open chapter 28, verse 17, the discussion is there. Somehow, like my mistake, I fully agree.
Right.
So the
So
point
Prabhu,
I'm trying to make is that if it is not there in the scriptures, well then you don't have to blindly accept what I'm saying. The scriptures are the basis. And we have to accept scriptures. Now, one or two words plus minus, that is understandable. Even for my Bhagavatam study, when we are given questions in the print document that we have, yeah, sometimes there is a printing error that there's a one verse plus or minus, or sometimes the numbers are interchanged, or sometimes instead of the 17 it's 27. Now that mistake is understandable, that there's a printing error. So when we are trying to read for our own Bhagavatam study, well, I cannot find, so I'm like, where's this? So I will call some other devotee in the class, or I will find by myself, and I will realize that there is a printing error. So I don't accept, right? I say, well, it's supposed to be in this verse, but it is not there. So I have to find out what exactly is going on. So you also should not blindly accept, right? Scriptures are the basis, not me. I am subject to 4 defects. So Shalini, when you didn't find, you should
so
have
Prabhu,
message. You should have
I
question
just
that
wanted to
some,
add.
yeah,
Sorry, Prabhu. Can I just say something?
yeah.
So, Prabhu, when I didn't find, so I thought this is my mistake. I have written down the verse wrongly, and I was going like back and forth, and it's a very long chapter. So I was trying my best to go through all the purpose to find out, Prabhu. So that's where I got stuck.
Yeah, so you should understand that I am very easily accessible, right? I'm not sitting here with a stick that you should have some fear. When something does not make sense,
Prabhuji,
you should just ask.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhuji, you have also given 17, there is an important message. Describe what rules the subtle body. For that, you have given an explain, Prabhu. This mind and intelligence carries to the
Yeah,
next life.
so the explanation is correct.
Yes,
There's nothing
Prabhuji.
wrong with the explanation. It's just that it's from chapter 28, verse 17, and not chapter 25, verse 17. So last class we were discussing chapter 25.
Yes, Prabhuji. Same thing how Shalini did. I answered from your note, your notes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you should not, right?
Yeah, we should not.
So,
Prabhuji, actually,
Yeah.
when I prepare for the spiritual endeavor answers, first of all, I go through the entire script once. If possible, even the translation, I go through the purport. So I assimilate the idea, and then I go through the class notes. So in comparison, I found that I have missed it, I thought, and I made a reference and I sent the answers. But adversity brings you an opportunity to learn. Anyhow,
we
thought the onus was on us, we thought.
So all three of you, Shalini, Mother Chandra Aunty and Uncle, all three of you, they are actually demonstrating humility. So this is actually will come up in upcoming chapters in the Prithu Maharaj section, that when you see something incorrect and you say it's my mistake, it will come up in Prithu Maharaj's chapter 16, that chapters 15 and 16, that this is actually your humility. Yes, I appreciate all of this. That yes, you noticed. So what I'm requesting all of you is that I am very easily accessible. Right? You don't have to blindly believe what I say. I am subject to 4 defects. Scriptures are the basis. So if something is not there in the scriptures, you have to reject whatever I am saying.
Got it, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, we'll do that. But we thought you are the authority. That is why we came
Yeah,
to
I am not the authority. That's why I said, yes, it's my mistake, but I'm going to use it as a learning opportunity that I am not authority. I am under the modes. I am subject to 4 defects. Right? I am trying to do a service given to me, but that does not mean I am right. Everybody crystal clear? I want to hear from everybody.
Prabhuji, I also went through the entire script. I couldn't find out what is Satya, what is sin on the particular subject. So I kept quiet, I thought I can learn from today. That's why I didn't know.
So next time, call me.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Mother Chicha.
Prabhuji, I went to chapter 24 and 26, couldn't get the answer. And 25, I didn't understand only. So I thought I've done some offense. God is not making me understand the Bhagavad Gita nowadays, the scriptures nowadays. I thought like that, Prabhuji, and kept off the book.
So you all are demonstrating appropriate humility. But what I'm saying is scriptures are the authority. And the second point is I am very easily accessible. I do not chastise anyone. I guide you whatever is possible for me to guide you. So you do not have to blindly accept if you do not find something in the scriptures. Now, yeah, there was one in the Daksha pastime, we had discussed that the prayers of the various personalities, there was a hidden criticism. That point, I understand that it was not there in the scriptures. And when we were discussing, I clearly said, I also did not see. It's what acharyas have clarified. That point I understand. But this discussion is not the same, that I was referring to chapter 28 verse instead of chapter 25. So the point is correct. There was nothing wrong in what I was saying, that the role that the subtle and the material bodies play in enjoyment. The point that I discussed was 100% correct. It's just that it was from chapter 28 and not chapter 25. Somehow I had chapter 28 verse open and that's what I was discussing. So you don't have to blindly accept what I say.
Prabhuji, how did you recognize this?
So
This thing.
the first clue came even in class, that the discussion of Malaya Dwaja. So I knew this comes on later on, and that was the first clue. And then actually they should have stuck to Shivangi and Chandran Prabhu's, that there was a question asked in the other batch on the same topic. And when I was preparing the answer for that question, that's when I realized that it's not from chapter 25, but it's from chapter 28. And I realized, wait a minute, I actually discussed this in the last class for chapter 25. That's when the dots got connected that, wait a minute, I was referring to a different chapter. So Shivangi and Chandran Prabhu's had that additional opportunity to also recognize in batch 3 and 4 where a relevant question was asked by another devotee. So I answered that this is described in chapter 28, verse number 17, and not in chapter 25. Again, clearly my mistake that I had a different chapter open while I was talking, while I was preparing. Right. Anybody, those who didn't speak? Shivangi?
Prabhuji, I don't feel it is a grave situation because you are well within the topic, but you have advanced the coverage.
It's my mistake. It's just your humility to say that. Okay, Shivangi. Shivangi, unmute.
Oh, Prabhuji, are you talking about the homework questions or references you had given us for the two questions?
Yeah. So,
Oh,
as well as I discussed these points at the last class. So in the homework question, I only gave reference as verse 17. So all of you would have assumed that it is from chapter 25. And right? And it's supposed to be from the chapter that we are discussing. In the homework question, I only give the verse reference. I don't give the whole 4-point chapter point verse. I don't give that way. I only give the verse. So it's expected that I am giving you the question from the same chapter. So the learning is that, yes, many of you went to the verse, you just didn't connect with me. So don't stop there. You should connect with me. And some of you just believed what I said. That is incorrect. You don't have to believe what I say. If it is different from scriptures, then scriptures are the authority. Shastram Vidim. We have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, verse 23-24. Krishna says right or wrong is determined by Shastra. Shastra Vidim. Gopal, Sridhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it's only me who's on the call, Prabhu. He's traveling, working.
Sridhar Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu, as you said, yeah. Shastra, the triangle that you always say, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Whenever we need.
Yeah.
Guru, Shastra, and
Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So believe on scriptures, not me, right? Scriptures are the authority. So you all now recognize I am also subject to 4 defects. I am not authority. I have never claimed myself to be authority. The other point I want to highlight is that last week we started this new process where I gave you a link for Google Form to populate striking points and inquiries. Now only very few of you completed that. So it's an opportunity for all of you to endeavor. So yes, it's very good that On the weekend, we come for an hour or so to discuss Bhagavatam in devotee association. But then the intent is that we should carry the association throughout the week. So these endeavors are meant to allow you to have some connection with Bhagavatam, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. So endeavor, it generally doesn't take long. And some of you, what you all did was, you put one striking point under one column, and the other column is for inquiry. You put the second striking point under the inquiry column, although you don't have any inquiry. So under the strike, so there are only two columns besides the name, etc. You can write as long and as many points that you want under the striking point column. It will just keep on expanding. There's no limit. The row, the column will keep on expanding. And whatever inquiries you have, you can put it in the inquiries column. And simultaneously, there is no restriction that you can only submit one time. Say you completed your submission one time and later you decide I have to make second submission, you can again open the same link and populate it again. I have not restricted the form to one entry only. There is an option to restrict, but it's open, right? It's very flexible. So try. So this week I have not populated the responses on a slide. So again, try. It doesn't take long. And we have heard from Srila Prabhupada in Canto 1 that you are hearing Bhagavatam. This is very good. But then you have to also speak. Then you get the benefit. Right? So speaking is in terms of writing it down on the Google form. Is also speaking, right? And then I bring up on screen. So Shivangi and Chandran Prabhus are familiar with this process in the other batches. That I bring up on screen. I do not disclose anybody's names. I only bring out the points and the inquiries. Shivangi, Chandran Prabhus, you want to share something from the other batch, this experience?
Prabhuji, it is the Google form. It actually it kindles to refurbish the classes what we read, what we have learned from you. It makes us to go through once again and picks up the valuable points to write it on. That one thing. Another thing, the enquiries, fantabulous, that unexpected, which is sometimes I have been watching, probably even yourself, finding it difficult to answer such questions or devotees are questioning. So I am really enjoying that one. I don't question nowadays anything at all. This is my feeling. So.
Yeah. So one devotee questions is for the benefit of everyone. Yeah, very good. Shivangi.
Prabhuji, I think it's because this is a smaller group. I think it's hard to be anonymous. Someone wants to write something anonymous. I think it's difficult. And even in the larger group, in the other class, even if someone wants to write something anonymous, I think you know everybody very well, so you figure out who said what. So I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, you are correct that, I don't recognize all of you, that there are sometimes devotees writing inquiries without disclosing their names. So I have a guess. I can guess, but that does not mean that my guess is right. So whosoever wants to stay anonymous, you can answer, can inquire without disclosing your name. So there's an option that you can put any other character in your name field. and it stays anonymous. So, yes, I understand that I may have a guess, but not all times my guess is correct. But again, even if you are asking with or without your names, the inquiry, I am anyway not disclosing anybody's names. Yeah, you can still continue to stay anonymous, all of you, and focus on the question, right? We are here to focus on the question, not on the individual. Shivangi?
Yes, Prabhu.
Inquiring mind, the purpose is for learning.
Correct.
And Prabhuji, when I was preparing, I want to indulge in the endeavor question 1 and 2. What happens when you read the script in the class and when you revise? There are different things then when you put it in writing. When you try to put it in writing, you want to make it sensible.
Yeah.
You want grammatically it is right, it is meaningful, it is relevant to the question, and what you have learned you are trying to put. So it is a sort of absolute committed revision, not mechanical.
Yeah, you are correct. All right.
And as you said, the whole week, the topic is in the mind.
Correct.
Puranjana and Puranjani and the heroes named Puranjana.
Yeah.
All these things, they are simmering in the mind. So
Yeah,
it is not.
Yeah, and that's the relishing. So we have discussed this at the very start of Bhagavatam, the overview, and in Canto 1. Prabhupada has also said. He has said, Shrutavya Kirtitavya cha. It should be Canto 1, should be chapter 4, some verse. So he says that whatever you are hearing, that is very good. Then you have to speak, you have to preach. Then you get the full benefit. Then Bhagavatam gets engraved in you, and you are continuously associating with Bhagavatam. So all of you can stay anonymous on your responses. Then Shivangi will not have this challenge. All of you can stay anonymous as long as I have responses from every single one. Right, so one of the reason for the name is that I have mentioned many times that whosoever does not do the spiritual endeavor, they generally leave the path of spirituality. And by having the name, I will know that, okay, I have to still somehow pull this particular devotee for doing the endeavor so that they don't go away. But you all are welcome. All of you can collectively decide, we'll do anonymous as long as I have responses from every single one. So if you are 11 devotees, there should be at least 11 responses. Can be more. Then it's okay. Everybody.
Personally, I differ with you, Prabhuji. Why should we be anonymous? We are all in the continuous process of learning.
Yeah, so what Shivangi's point is, that sometimes you have to ask a difficult question where you don't want to disclose that the personal situation. So I'm okay. There are many devotees across many batches. They have asked question anonymous, and sometimes I don't know who's asking. I still answer the question. I anyway do not disclose who's asking the question. I never disclose that. But it's an option available for everybody that sometimes you have a difficult question to ask where you feel very shy, but you still want the answer. So stay anonymous. Shalini.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, no, I also, go with what Uncle was saying. I think over a period of so many years, I think all of us have built a rapport with you that I don't think there is anything which is, secretive or something which is, we don't want to openly share. So that's my own personal, I don't.
Yeah. So both Shalini and Uncle are correct, and simultaneously Shivangi is also correct that sometimes you have a difficult question to ask and you are feeling shy to ask. So put it as anonymous, right? And across various batches, there have been few instances where devotees have asked the question in an anonymous way. And a couple of times I did not know who's asking the question, but it doesn't matter to me. Shivangi wanted to say something.
Sorry, Prabhu, I think I opened a can of worms. But
No, it's okay. Nothing is can of worms here. We are all here to help each other, and what Shalini just said. All right. So scriptures are the authority. I am not. I am subject to 4 defects, except what the scriptures are saying, not what I say. We will continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25. The context is that the characters in this Unit 19, Chapters 25 to 28 are fictional characters. The entire teachings are as an allegory. That chapter 25 starts the discussion that once upon a time there was a king named Puranjana, and then there are many more characters to represent something else. Later on, Narad Muni describes that Narad Muni told the story of Puranjana to Prachini Bharisat to tell the life story of Prachini Bharisat to Prachini Bharisat. We also read from Canto 4, Chapter 28, the last verse, number 65. Prabhupada says that the path of Bhakti Yoga is the path of hearing directly about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. But those who are not interested in hearing directly about the activities of the Lord, or those who cannot understand those activities, those pastimes, for them, they can very effectively hear such stories as this one narrated by Sri Narad Muni, the story of Puranjana narrated to Prachini Bharisat, to tell the life story of Prachini Bharisat to Prachini Bharisat. So as we read through these verses, and we should focus on ourselves, that am I also Puranjana and Puranjini? And how do I come out of it? So solution will come up as we progress. First, a large portion is focused on describing the problems, that materialistic way of life is the problem. And doing devotional service is, of course, the solution. So what I missed at the last class, we'll cover those couple of points. That in chapter 25, verses 5 and 6, describe karma bandhana fansa and kuta dharma. So let's read chapter 25, verse number 5, translation and purport. Shivangi, 5, translation and purport.
yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, text 5, translation. The king replied, O great soul Narada, my intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. Therefore, I do not know the ultimate goal of life. Kindly instruct me in pure knowledge so that I can get out of the entanglement of fruitive activities. Purport. Sri Narottama Das Thakura has sung, Satsangachari kainu asate vilasa, te karane lagila ye karma bandha pansa. As long as a person is entangled in fruitive activities, he is bound to accept one body after another. This is called karma bandha pansa, entanglement in fruitive activities. It does not matter whether one is engaged in pious or impious activities, for both are causes for further entanglement in material bodies. By pious activities, one can take birth in a rich family and get a good education and a beautiful body, but this does not mean that the distresses of life are ultimately eliminated. In the Western countries, it is not unusual for one to take birth in a rich aristocratic family, nor is it unusual for one to have a good education and a very beautiful body, but this does not mean that Westerners are free from the distresses of life. Although at the present moment, the younger generation in Western countries has sufficient education, beauty, and wealth, and although there is enough food, clothing, and facilities for sense gratification, they are in distress. Indeed, they are so distressed that they become hippies, and the laws of nature force them to accept a wretched life. Thus, they go about unclean and without shelter or food, and they are forced to sleep in the street. It can be concluded that one cannot become happy by simply performing pious activities. It is not a fact that those who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth are free from the material miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. The conclusion is that one cannot be happy by simply executing pious or impious activities. Such activities simply cause entanglement and transmigration from one body to another. Narottama Dasa Thakura calls this karma bandha pansa. King Prachinabarisat admitted this fact and frankly asked Narada Muni how he could get out of this karma bandha pansa, entanglement in fruitive activities. This is actually the stage of knowledge indicated in the first verse of Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jitnyasa. When one actually reaches the platform of frustration in an attempt to discharge karma bandha pansa, he inquires about the real value of life, which is called Brahma Jitnyasa. In order to inquire about the ultimate goal of life, the Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 11.2.12 enjoin, Tad Vijnanatam Sa Gurum Eva Vigachet. In order to understand the transcendental service, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. King Prachinabarhisat found the best spiritual master, Narada Muni, and he therefore asked him about that knowledge by which one can get out of the entanglement of karma bandha pansa, fruitive activities. This is the actual business of human life. Jivasya tattva jnana nato yascheha karma bhi. As stated in the second chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.10, a human being's only business is inquiring from a bona fide spiritual master about extrication from the entanglement of karma bandha pansa. Hare Krishna.
Karma bandha pansa. That Prabhupada explained that as long as a person is entangled in fruitive activities, he is bound to accept one body after another. This is called karma bandha pansa, that entanglement in fruitive activities. And whether you are doing pious or impious activities, it does not matter because both of them cause further entanglement in material bodies. Prabhupada gives the example of Western countries that people are rich in Western countries, have good education, beautiful body. They are free from distress to a certain extent, but still they end up becoming hippies. So it can be concluded that one cannot be happy simply by performing pious activities. And the conclusion is pious activities also, impious for sure, pious activities also entangle one and causes transmigration from one body to another. And that's what Narottam Das Thakur calls as karma bandha pansa. Pansa means you are stuck. And when one actually reaches the platform of frustration in an attempt to discharge fruitive activity, that's when he comes to real inquiry, Brahma Jikyasu. The only business of humans is to approach a bona fide spiritual master and inquire. The last line Prabhupada says, inquire how to extricate myself from the entanglement of karma bandha phansa. Questions, comments, realizations? And this discussion actually continues in verse number 6 also. Shalini, verse 6, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna, text 6, translation. Those who are interested only in so-called dutiful life, namely remaining as a householder, entangled by sons and a wife, and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life. Purport. Those who are too much attached to family life, which consists of entanglement with wife, children, wealth, and home, are engaged in Kuta Dharma, pseudo duties. Prahlad Maharaj has likened these pseudo occupational duties to a dark well, Anda Kupam. Prahlad has purposefully spoken of this dark well because if one falls into this well, he will die. He may cry for help, but no one will hear him or come to rescue him. The words Brahmiyan, Samsara, Vartmasu are significant. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.151, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly explains Brahmanda Brahmiti Kona Bhagyavan Jiva. All living entities are wandering in different types of bodies throughout different planets. And if in the course of their wanderings, they come in contact with a devotee by the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their lives become successful. Even though King Prachina Bharisat was engaged in fruitive activity, the great sage Narada appeared before him. The king was very fortunate to be able to associate with Narada, who enlightened him in spiritual knowledge. It is the duty of all saintly persons to follow in the footsteps of Narad Muni and travel all over the world to every country and village just to instruct illusion persons about the goal of life and to save them from the entanglement of karma bandha, fruitive activity. Hare Krishna.
Questions, comments, realizations on karma bandha phansa, Kuta Dharma.
Srila Prabhupada himself is an example like Narada Muni. All over the world, he has traveled every country to instruct or clarify the illusioned persons about the goal of life. That is my realization.
Very good. Prabhupada has said that, so Prabhupada traveled about 14 times all over the globe. And Prabhupada said, I am traveling all over the world and even to some universities, but there is no university teaching about the soul when soul is the most important part of the body. Therefore, we have ISKCON. Very good realization. Shalini.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just one more thing to add. Like there are so many people in the world, so many people in general whom we know also. Because of not having Krishna consciousness, they are so much directly all the time thinking that, it's good to do pious activities, Prabhu. It's good to do good for people, not at the soul level, not understanding the soul level, but for the material body, showing compassion and, doing so many kinds of activities, Prabhu. So it's very difficult if you're not Krishna conscious for us to even explain and for them to understand that, they're still entangled, Prabhu.
Yeah, you are correct. And you can narrow down that whom you are wanting to preach. So all those who are pious people, they are somewhat ripe for spirituality. So we are discussing Bhagavad Gita 7.28 that You have to come to mode of goodness to be steady. So those who are doing pious activities, they are in some goodness. So those you can consider as somewhat ripe, may not be 100% ripe, some could be. They are at least somewhat ripe as compared to others who are not doing any pious activities. And you can, those who are ripe, those who are in goodness, you can try to explain to them that here are the classes, here are where you can get appropriate information, and this will help you. So if you try to explain to a drunkard something about spirituality, it's a waste of your time. But if somebody is pious, you fan the spark. So my spiritual master's website is fanthespark.com. So you fan that spark to bring out the spirituality within them by giving them prasadam, by giving them scriptures, by bringing them to classes. That's an appropriate, or I shouldn't say appropriate, but efficient preaching endeavor. Shalini.
Prabhu, just to add, Prabhu, the problem is they're highly material. The pious means they're not pious that way. They just think that, they need to, because they have the monetary capability, they have the, capacity or ability to help. So otherwise they're quite materialistic. So it's like
and that's okay. That's okay. But they are little pious materialists are better than impious materialists for preaching spirituality. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. Thank you.
Shivangi.
Prabhuji, just a question. If someone doesn't come to that Brahma Jignasa or that feeling of frustration, does that mean they'll never meet a guru or like devotees?
No, so it's the material world cycle is therefore designed for 311 trillion 40 billion years, exactly for this point, that at some point of time they will come to realizing that Vasudeva is everything. They said in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. So 7.19 specifically is about Jnani, but somebody who's before a Jnani will be first a little bit pious, then he will come to a Jnani. So we have discussed this in Nectar of Instruction, the hierarchy of devotees, that Prabhupada explains Vikarmi as the lowest, then Karmi. From Karmi, one comes to Jnani, then devotee, then pure devotee, and then to gopis, and Srimati Radharani as the highest gopi. So somebody who is not a Jnani but could be on the path of Jnani, so it may take one or more lifetimes to come. It's not that they will never meet a spiritual master, it's just that it will take time, depending on impurities, depending on their endeavor. Shivangi.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So chapter 25, verse number 13 describes Andha Pangu Nyay. And how do we apply this? This verse is going to be an eye-opener. Chandran Prabhu, 13 translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 13 translation. Once while wandering in this way, he saw on the southern side of the Himalayas, in a place named Bharatavarsa, India, a city that had 9 gates all about and was characterized by all auspicious facilities. Purport. The tract of land south of the Himalaya mountains is the land of India, which was known as Bharatavarsa. When a living entity takes birth in Bharatavarsa, he is considered to be most fortunate. Indeed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated, Bharata Bhumite Haila Manusya Janma Yara Janma Sattaka Kari Karapara Upakara. Thus, whoever takes birth in the land of Bharatavarsa attains all the facilities of life. He may take advantage of all these facilities for both material and spiritual advancement and thus make his life successful. After attaining the goal of life, one may distribute his knowledge and experience all over the world for humanitarian purposes. In other words, one who takes birth in the land of Bharatavarsa by virtue of his past pious activities gets full facility to develop the human form of life. In India, the climatic condition is such that one can live very peacefully without being disturbed by material conditions. Indeed, during the time of Maharaja Yudhishthira or Lord Ramachandra, people were free from all anxieties. There was not even extreme cold or extreme heat. The three kinds of miserable conditions, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidaivika, miseries inflicted by the body and mind itself, those inflicted by other living entities and natural disturbances, were all absent during the reign of Lord Ramachandra or Maharaja Yudhishthira. But at present, compared to other countries on earth, India is artificially disturbed. Despite these material disturbances, however, the country's culture is such that one can easily attain the goal of life, namely salvation or liberation from material bondage. Thus, in order to take birth in India, one must have performed many pious activities in past life. In this verse, the word Lakshita Lakshanam indicates that the human body attained in Bharatavarsa is very auspicious. Vedic cultures is full of knowledge, and a person born in India can fully take advantage of Vedic cultural knowledge and the cultural system known as Varnasrama Dharma. Even at the present time, as we travel all over the world, we see that in some countries, human beings have many material facilities, but no facilities for spiritual advancement. We find everywhere the defects of one-sided facilities and a lack of full facilities. A blind man can walk but not see, and a lame man cannot walk but can see. Anda Pangu Nyaya, the blind man may take the lame man over his shoulder, and as he walks, the lame man may give him directions. Thus, combined, but they may work, but individually, neither the blind man nor the lame man can walk successfully. Similarly, this human form of life is meant for the advancement of spiritual life and for keeping the material necessities in order. Especially in the Western countries, there are ample facilities for material comforts, but no one has any idea of spiritual advancement. Many are hankering after spiritual advancement, but many cheaters come take advantage of their money, bluff them and go away. Fortunately, the Krishna consciousness movement is there to give all facilities for both material and spiritual advancement. In this way, people in the Western countries may take advantage of this movement. In India, any man in the villages unaffected by the industrial cities of India can still live in any condition and make spiritual advancement. The body has been called the city of 9 gates. And these 9 gates include 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, a genital, and a rectum. When the 9 gates are clean and working properly, it is to be understood that the body is healthy. In India, these 9 gates are kept clean by the villagers who rise early in the morning, bathe in the well or river, go to the temples to attend Mangala Arati, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and take prasada. In this way, one can take advantage of all the facilities of human life. We are gradually introducing this system in different centers in our society in the Western countries. One who takes advantage of it becomes more and more enlightened in spiritual life. At the present moment, India may be compared to the lame man and the Western countries to the blind man. But for the best 2000 years, India has been subjugated by the rule of foreigners, and the legs of progress have been broken. In the Western countries, the eyes of the people have become blind due to the dazzling glitter of material opulence. The blind man of the Western countries and the lame man of India should combine together in this Krishna conscious movement. Then the lame man of India can walk with the help of the Westerner, and the blind Westerner can see with the help of the lame man. In short, the material advancement of the Western countries and the spiritual assets of India should combine for the elevation of all human society. Hare Krishna.
Andha Pangu Gyan, that at present India may be compared to a lame man and Western countries to the blind man. India is subjugated to the rule of foreigners for so long and the legs of progress are broken. Therefore, India is considered as a lame man. In Western countries, people are blind by the dazzling glitter of material opulences. The blind men of the Western countries and the lame men of India should combine together in this Krishna conscious movement for elevation of all human society. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, I would like to share one thing, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Last month we came to know in our building, there's one boy by name, what's his name? Joseph. He is around 30, 32, 34. See, when I was walking in the corridor, he just asked me, he asked my name and he said, I'm going to India. Then I told him, if you need any help, you please come and if you don't mind, you can check with my husband. Then he came one day. Then he is now connected with sorry? He is going to Puri Jagannath, it seems, Prabhu, with some group of people. And in fact, he has attended our cow farm is there, no, Prabhu?
Okay.
He was there for 2 weeks. And then he met our Toronto Prabhuji also. I forgot his name. He walks a lot, no, Prabhu?
Bhakti Mark Swami.
Yes. So he was explaining all those things. And then Uncle was just suggesting how to book the ticket and all those things. Now with this context, I remember, I understand how the Westerner is connected with the, Indian people.
Yeah.
And he is going for 2 weeks. I think next 10th or 8th February.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. That's exactly what Prabhupada is saying.
I was so excited. And he was sharing with us all Bhagavad Gita, everything. So it was really interesting, Prabhuji.
Yeah, very good. A live example. Exactly what Prabhupada is explaining in the verse, that Westerners and Indians can combine and then it will be beneficial for entire humanity on earth. Very good. Thank you for sharing.
Exactly.
So now part 3 is verses 25 to 44. Title is A Beautiful Woman Becomes Puranjana's Queen. So we have covered all these verses. So points that I missed earlier, I covered standalone points. So from verse 25 onwards, we had read some of it, but we'll read the entire part from this point on for context. So verse number 25, purport describes that by his own free will, Jiva is bound by ignorance. Ignorance is referring to material intelligence. So material ignorance and material knowledge are both ignorance. We have discussed this in Shishopanishad. Krishna does not bind the jiva in material world. It's the ignorance of the jiva that binds the jiva in the material world. And there are two types of heroes described. Jiva can be a great material hero, meaning he's a victim of Maya. Yeah, call it hero, but he's victim of Maya. Or Jiva can be a great spiritual hero, meaning he's Goswami, master of his senses. Aditi or Sridhar Prabhu, 25 translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Puranjana, the hero, became attracted by the eyebrows and smiling face of the very beautiful girl and was immediately pierced by the arrows of her lusty desires. When she smiled shyly, she looked very beautiful to Puranjana, who, although a hero, could not refrain from addressing her. Purport. Every living entity is a hero in two ways. When he is a victim of the illusionary energy, he works as a great hero in the material world, as a great leader, politician, businessman, industrialist, etc., and his heroic activities contribute to the material advancement of the civilization. One can also become a hero by being master of the senses, a Goswami. Material activities are false heroic activities, whereas restraining the senses from material engagement is great heroism. However great a hero one may be in the material world, he can be immediately conquered by the lumps of flesh and blood known as the breasts of women. In the history of material activities, there are many examples, like the Roman hero Antony, who became captivated by the beauty of Cleopatra. Similarly, a great hero in India named Bajirao became a victim of a woman during the time of Maharashtrian politics, and he was defeated. From history, we understand that formerly politicians used to employ beautiful girls who were trained as Vishakanya. These girls had poison injected into their bodies from the beginning of their lives, so that in due course of time they would become so immune to the poison and so poisonous themselves that simply by kissing a person they could kill him. These poisonous girls were engaged to see an enemy and kill him with a kiss. Thus, there are many instances in human history of heroes who have who have been curbed by women. Being part and parcel of Krishna, the living entity is certainly a great hero. But due to his own weakness, he becomes attracted to the material features. Krishna Bahirmukha Hana Bhogavancha Kare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japatiya Dhare. It is said in the Prema Vivarta that when a living entity wants to enjoy material nature, he is immediately victimized by the material energy. A living entity is not forced to come into the material world. He makes his own choice, being attracted by beautiful women. Every living entity has the freedom to be attracted by material nature or to stand as a hero and resist that attraction. It is simply a question of the living entities being attracted or not being attracted. There is no question of being forced to come into contact with material energy. One who can keep himself steady and resist the attraction of material nature is certainly a hero and deserves to be called a Goswami. Unless one is master of the senses, he cannot become a Goswami. The living entity can take one of the two positions in this world. He may become a servant of his senses or he may become master of them. By becoming a servant of the senses, one becomes a great material hero. And by becoming master of the senses, he becomes a Goswami or spiritual hero. Hare Krishna.
So, two types of heroes described. Somebody in the material world is a hero, well, actually is victim of Maya. Real hero is to become a Goswami, the master of his senses. Shalini.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when we were going through this, the purport, I was just remembering about Godas. So that was also part of the purport, Prabhu.
Correct.
Servant of senses.
Very good. So verses 26, 27, 28, Puranjana makes a lot of inquiries to Puranjini. Mother Jija, 26, 27, 28 translations.
Text 26. My dear lotus feet, lotus-eyed, kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who you are, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me. Text 27. My dear lotus-eyed, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you? And who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants? And who is the snake that is preceding you? Text 28. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulence. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I am asking you where you have thrown that lotus. Hare Krishna.
So everyone thinks his own intelligence is perfect, but being bewildered, he does not know how intelligence is to be employed. Intelligence is supposed to be employed in service of the Lord, not what Puranjana or not what materialistic people are inquiring with a member of opposite sex here, Puranjini in the example. Uncle will read 29, 30 and 31 translations where Puranjana will say, well, I am now agitated. Show me your face. So we'll understand what he is asking and what the real meaning is.
Hare Krishna. Translation 29. Oh, greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman on this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Vishnu, increases the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets. Also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and very powerful king of this planet. Text 30. Certainly you are glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me. Text 31. My dear girl, your face is so beautiful with your nice eyebrows and eyes, and with your bluish hair scattered about. In addition, very sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request you, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me. Hare Krishna.
So because of past impressions of sense objects, Jiva is attacked. Therefore, Jiva asks for enjoyment of sense objects. So here Puranjana is attacked by avidya. Therefore, he wants to see the complete face of avidya. Therefore, he asked Puranjini, show me your entire face. And the next set of verses, Puranjini is also attacked similarly. And Puranjini says that I and my associates will serve you. Associates also refers to something else. We'll soon read all of this. Mother Chandra Aunty, 32 to 37 translations.
Text 32, translation. Narada continued, my dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also became attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. 33. The girl said, O best of human being, I do not know who has begotten me. I cannot speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names or the origin of the associates with me. Text 34. O great hero, we only know that we are existing in this place. We do not know what will come after. Indeed, we are so foolish that we do not care to understand who has created this beautiful place for our residence. Text 35. My dear gentlemen, all these men and women with me are known as my friends, and the snake who always remains awake protects this city even during my sleeping hours. So much I know. I do not know anything beyond this. Text 36. O killer of the enemy, you have somehow or other come here. This is certainly great fortune for me. I wish all auspicious things for you. You have a great desire to satisfy your senses. All my friends and I shall try our best in all respect to fulfill your desires. Text 37. My dear Lord, I have just arranged this city of 9 gates for you so that you can have all kinds of sense gratification. You may live here for 100 years and everything for your sense gratification will be supplied. Hare Krishna.
Right, so the city is basically referring to the body. And Puranjini says, my associate. So all these men refers to mind and senses. And woman refers to desires. The snake refers to the vital force who always remains awake to protect this city. This city is referring to the body. So we are just about at 12 noon time, Toronto. We'll cover rest of the verses in our subsequent class. We have to read a couple of purports. I'll give you spiritual endeavor questions. Number 1. Describe karma bandha phansa and kuta dharma is from chapter 25, verse 5 and 6. Second, what is Andha Pangu Nyai and how can we apply it? Comes from chapter 25, verse 13. And read, so for the next class, read all the purports. So there's a lot of details given about what each of these points mean. So read all the purports. All the details are already there in the purports. Read this chapter. We'll aim to complete this chapter 25 in our subsequent class. Shalini, you had a question earlier.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No, Prabhu, I didn't.
So I will post Google form also. Try your best to complete. You don't have to wait for Wednesday. You can just complete. You still have tomorrow's day off, at least most of you. Worst case scenario, try for Wednesday so I can assemble the information on a slide.
Prabhuji, I used to realize that how fortunate we are born in India. Because it is a country with even the poorest to richest can live comfortably.
Yeah.
You have got all sorts of life in spiritual endeavors. I used to realize that. And that too more significantly when I visited UK and then European countries as well as Gulf countries. And now in North America, both US and Canada. What significantly I realized, like when you go to sunlight, you realize the advantage of shades where you are protected and the value of it. Similarly, after visiting all these places, I used to see India vis-a-vis all these places. What is available more, what is attracting and what is missing. So opulence is attraction. Every facility is available. Many things are mechanized. But the humanitarian approach to individual viva is missing. And spiritual endeavor, value of God is not realized. This is my realization, Prabhuji.
Correct. Yeah, very good. Thank you for sharing. And it's correct. Yeah, India is going backwards in terms of spirituality when they should have been the leaders from beginning. All right. Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, everybody.
Hare Krishna.